circulating right now claiming the entire Universe 7 microcosm is only 40 light years wide, with each galaxy supposedly, in this model at least, being only 10 light years across. So yeah, let that sink in. The idea is that the galaxies are not galactic quadrants, just...
So Shane, with respect, I don't know where scalers get this idea of galactic quadrants for. Even the guidebook and all of the source material tell you that the quadrants are the galaxies. The North Quadrant is the North Galaxy. We even have clips of King Kai explaining this. It's also in the guidebook.
Good to see you, sir.
Training hard, guys?
Yes, sir. Hey, I'd say you sure are famous here in the other world, aren't you?
Well, just with people from the North Quadrant.
So, he's from where I'm from?
Sure, same galaxy, but he's about 2,000 years your senior.
There's no reason to say that they're quadrants filled with more galaxies. We have the definition of a galaxy in the guidebook as a collection of nebula, not more galaxies. So your entire video here is already wrong. It's already objectively wrong, and you claim that you're going to use the source material, but you didn't actually use the source material. You revised the source material.
Singular small galaxies. Now, we're not really here to mock this, we're going to do something even better. What we're going to do is take the strongest version of that argument, steelman it, and then test it against the actual source material. Because once you simply bring in Daizenshu statements, super exciting guy statements, the manga panels themselves, travel times, super Shenron, and even basic astronomical scales, this model starts to collapse. Once you stress test it, it basically implodes. Now guys, I encourage you to start looking at this from not just a diegetic level, but also a meta-analytical level. So what we're going to do is get into this. Here is the strongest version of the argument and model of a 40 light year universe, with each galaxy, the north, west, south, and east being 10 kilometers or circa 10 kilometers each. Okay, so the whole idea is that the macrocosm is divided into 4 directional regions: north, south, east, and west. We do know this. They are all called the North Galaxy, South Galaxy, East Galaxy, West Galaxy. Literally using the word galaxy makes it sound like a singular galaxy.
So here you just claim that you're going to use all the source material, the guides, and by the way, the super exciting guide is an actual guide. I talked to the parent company, they said it's not a guide. They don't even know who made it. And also about Super Shenron, please Shane, it's 2026. Do not tell me that you think that Super Shenron was actually summoned inside of one of the universes. He was summoned in the neutral space.
Fair enough. So they are interpreted as 4 literal galaxies in this particular model. Now, each galaxy is estimated to be roughly 10 light years, therefore the total size of the universe is circa 40 light years. That's the structure of this model, but that's not all it relies on. It also takes into account the travel time from Bulma and Kami's ship to get from Earth to Namek, then looking at the universal model and placing Namek in a particular destination in accordance to Earth, which is stated to be at the edge of the universe, which is correct. We don't exactly know where Namek exactly is located in the universal model, and whilst this model shouldn't be taken exactly to scale from the super exciting guide, you can see clear lines dividing the quarters of the immortal universe, and Namek is in a different quarter to Earth. 7 is Earth, 8 is Namek. But let's assume that it's in the same galactic quadrant for the sake of Steelman in this argument. Now the mathematics are based on the spaceship speed reaching Jupiter in 5 seconds, which is approximately 512 times the speed of light, and then it's...
So Shane, nobody said 10 kilometers, we said 10 light years. There's a huge difference between 10 kilometers and 10 light years. By the way, the source material shows us this. And I don't understand how you're going to try to debunk the source material by using the source material, but we're going to find out. I'll give you a chance. And Shane, that image right there that you're showing in the guidebook is made and written by Akira Toriyama, and it says there's only 4 galaxies. It's written clearly, there's only 4. So when you say that each section of the universe is a quadrant filled with even more galaxies, that is incorrect. The source material and the author do not agree with you.
Iterated from there to ultimately making it to Namek within around 34 days, even though in the manga it's stated to be 39 days. This doesn't take into account any kind of acceleration time, but we'll get to more than that later. The model generously places Namek on the opposite side of the galaxy to Earth, as galaxy is stated to be on the edge of the universe. You would have to assume that Namek is implied to be close to the center of the universe, maximizing the distance for this particular feat of speed and travel time to come to the calculations that it did. So it's generous.
So Shane, you forgot to tell your audience that the 512 times light speed is the exact same speed as the maximum warp in the original Star Trek series, which is one of Akira Toriyama's favorite franchises. It just happens to be exactly the same. Yes, and that part is true. The Earth is on the edge of the North Galaxy, and if we place Namek subjectively on the complete opposite end, that means that's the maximum distance that this ship could have possibly traveled in that time period. So at 512 times light speed, for that amount of days, we can get a generalization of how big each galaxy is, and it's the maximum possible number.
Then there's also Snake Way, which is rumored to be 1 million kilometers. Now, it took Goku 177 days to cross it, and I'm going to show you later how absurd that it would be 1 million kilometers given Goku's speed.
So here you're saying that the source material and Goku's actual speed is absurd, and it's absurd to use the actual source material, even though at the beginning of this video you said you're only going to use the source material to steelman this argument, but you're now denying all of the actual speed feats, and I don't know how that's going to work out for you, but I'm curious to see.
Gets that soon, so make sure you stay strapped in. But the biggest concept, at least real-life scientific way of supporting it, is that it is based on the otherworld having a sun that illuminates the entire otherworld cosmos. So if one star lights the entire heavenly realm, the realm must be relatively small, considering it's also stated to be the same size as the mortal universe. And this is supported by a real-world example of a large star's Lux ray distancing. For those more familiar with cosmology terminology, we'll call it solar irradiance or solar flux. So it sounds quite scientific, it sounds quite coherent in parts. However, let's stress test this. So is Universe 7 really only 40 light years across? Well, the first problem, a 10 light year galaxy is actually smaller than some dwarf galaxies in real life.
Yes, Shane, they're smaller than actual dwarf galaxies because Akira Toriyama had severe problems with memory, and he made everything small so he could easily remember things. And if you want to get into the lux values, yes, the largest star ever recorded has a lux reach of exactly 10 to 12 light years. So if you place that star in between 4 galaxies that are 10 to 12 light years each, then it's going to light up all 4 of those galaxies around it. It just happens to be perfect.
Our own solar system's Oort cloud extends nearly 2 light years, a fifth of the proposal in this model. So this would mean entire galaxies are only 5 Oort clouds across. Now we know that the Earth's solar system is in Dragon Ball, it's been stated to be. Even Jupiter is referenced in this model. But this would leave the galaxy that is only 10 light years across to be heavily congested, considering how many stars are heavily depicted to be in the background of most Dragon Ball scenery.
So what I'm gathering here is that you're also denying the science behind it too, and also the source material and the guidebooks. So Shane, I'm not sure, maybe you need a callback to some statements and panels in Dragon Ball, and you're worried about the universe and the solar system being congested. Look at how close the moon is in the Dragon Ball lore. Yes, everything is congested, and it was literally drawn that way in the manga and the anime by Akira.
Dragon Ball routinely depicts star-dense cosmic structures. So let's put that 10 light years into context. There are only 12 stars located within 10 light years of the sun. If we quadruple that for 4 galaxies, that would only be 48 stars in the universe. That would only be 48 stars in the universe. That would only be 48 stars in the universe.
So this snapshot that you're showing here with all the stars in the background is your interpretation of where stars are actually located. So you're saying that the stars are huge and they're located many, many, many light years away, but that's the reverse of what the actual reality is. They're actually really close and very, very small.
Let's be super generous and say there's 100 stars in each galaxy. That's 400 stars. The way Dragon Ball depicts space, you see innumerable countless stars. The best thing you can do to watch this is Dragon Ball Super Broly, because there's lots of space travel in it. You see them traveling through space, traveling at faster than speed light, zooming past hundreds if not thousands of stars. Then you even get Frieza looking down upon...
So this part with the amount of stars near our own sun, we know that the Dragon Ball universe is more condensed than usual. We don't know exactly how many. So paralleling actual science on this specific topic is inherently a moot point, because we have no idea what the actual amount of stars are near the Earth in Dragon Ball. So you're making up fan fiction right here. This is not factual statements at all. This is just pure interpretation in your opinion.
On what appears to be the Milky Way galaxy, and it contains, this is clearly not a solar system, it's clearly a galaxy. It has a bright central bulge in the middle, there are spiral arms sweeping outwards, there's not just one dominant star in the sense you can see thousands. It's just not possible to contain all these stars in 10 light years. It's just extremely compressed if it's only this big. So
Shane, using the word innumerable in your own opinion here with absolutely no evidence to how many there actually are, again, is just your opinion. And you said you were going to use the source material only to steelman all of these facts. And so far, I'm only about 4 or 5 minutes into your video. Actually, let me recheck. Where am I? I am 3 minutes and 34 seconds into your video, and you haven't shown me a single fact Yet, all of this so far has been your opinion. And I respect opinions. Opinions are fine, but at the beginning of this video, you told your audience that you're going to use only facts, and so far you haven't used a single one. So here, you're making up more opinion that he passed hundreds of thousands of stars and he's moving at massively faster than light speed. Again, you have no idea if that's true or not. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying it's not true, I'm just saying you don't have, there's no guide reference, there's no statement in the show, there's nothing in the manga at all to say that they're moving that fast or moving past that many things. So you can't say stuff like that because your audience is impressionable and they're going to listen to you because you have a lot of subscribers, and they all so far have ignored saying that you're going to use source material. You have not used any source material yet.
Now we move to look at the text and some of the terminology. Obviously, we know, as we've discussed many times on this channel, kanji does not directly translate to English. So let's look at the word galaxy. Let's call this the ginga problem. The Japanese term is ginga. Ginga can mean multiple things. It predominantly does mean galaxy, but in Japanese media, it's also been known to mean starfield, large cosmic region, or astronomical domain. But without adding context to this, you would believe that this term ginga just means that there are only 4 galaxies in the entire Dragon Ball Universe 7 macrocosm, north, south, east, west, all having their own Kaioshin governing each section. But this interpretation is doing something. It's assuming that the directional labels imply isolated standalone galaxies, but the assumption doesn't really logically follow. In Japanese, the word used is ginga. Now here's a nuance. Like I said, galaxy absolutely can mean galaxy, but...
So once more, Shane, it could be the galaxy, it could not be. But again, you saying that it is a galaxy because it has a bright center is inherently false. This is exactly what solar systems look like, with heavy gas clouds going around it and a large star in the center. So you can't say definitively that it is a galaxy or it is a solar system. Again, you are interpreting things with your opinion and not using any facts. There's not a single statement anywhere in the guidebook, in the source material, in the movies, anywhere that says that's a galaxy. And I'm not saying that it's not a galaxy. I'm just saying you're injecting your own interpretation as law, and you shouldn't do that.
It can also mean a vast star system, a large star domain, which is basically groups of stars and large groups of stars without any quantity. It is not always used with strict Western astrophysical precision, and Dragon Ball itself divides the mortal universes into directional sectors. You see this in the Daizenshu, the super exciting guides: North Galaxy, South Galaxy, East Galaxy, and West Galaxy. These directional markers actually imply partitioning, not isolation. The way these galaxies are partitioned is administrative, not ontological. They are implied to be galactic quadrants, which is accepted by a lot of the fan base now, but obviously...
You just said it's not possible to contain all of these stars in this light year range, which again, we've already gone over that the galaxies are very condensed and not all of the stars are going to be equally as large as they are in real life. Again, you have no data on this, Shane, nothing. Like, there are no facts to back up a single word that you just said. And again, I respect your opinion, but that's all you're giving your audience right now is opinion. So Shane, you just said that one would believe that there's only 4 galaxies in the entire universe. Let's go to the guide before you move forward. And again, you've covered this guidebook before, so let's read the guidebook for the people who have not read it, okay? Here is the actual guidebook statements and all of the other statements saying that there's only 4 galaxies. We even have a scene of Goku scanning the entire universe for Beerus and Vegeta, showing us the 4 galaxies plus a new nebula.
For its energy, once you lock onto his power, you can use your instant transmission, right? Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Kaio, North Kaio, a kame who supervises the North Galaxy. He has continued to watch over the North Area's galaxy for a long period of time. He was caught in Cell's self-destruct and died, however, because he was already a resident of the world beyond, his way of life barely changed. Galaxy, a gathering of local planets in the universe. Planets gather and form a nebula, and beyond that, a collection of gathered nebula is called a galaxy. The four Kaio, who rule over the east, west, south, and north sections of the universe, govern these galaxies. Because the Kami in the heavenly realm and the Kaio supervise these galaxies that exist infinitely in all the universe, these sections known as east, west, south, and north galaxies are denominations that came into use through their duty. And by the way, existing infinitely is the kanji for aging the universe. There's a ruling kami for each galaxy. Earth resides in the solar system, a galactic nebula on the outskirts of the North Galaxy. The living world. The living world is also called the present world. To be frank, it means the vast universe. The universe is divided into 4 galaxies. Other than that, it is known that there's a chaotic place called the Devil Realm. Here is Akira's actual guidebook. The 4 Kaio respectively observe the universe, which is divided into 4 galaxies. The Earth is located in the North Galaxy. There's only 4. We have a diagram showing us 4 galaxies. And this is from the Kakarot Game Guide, The Secrets of King Kai. The universe is divided into 4 galaxies, north, south, east, and west. And being in charge of the North Galaxy, King Kai is formerly known as the North Kai. Now Shane, you said you were going to use the source material and the guidebooks to steelman this, but so far you haven't done that. So it doesn't matter, Shane, if the community accepts that they're galactic quadrants and the quadrants are filled with a ton of galaxies. There are only 4 galaxies, so if you draw a cross or an X between them all 4 of them become one quadrant, okay? That's what that means. Each galaxy is one quadrant. Because there's 4 galaxies, and you put a cross in between them, which is what Akira Toriyama drew for us, Shane. That makes the universe split into 4 sections. Each section is called a quadrant. Each section is just one galaxy. The North Galaxy, the South Galaxy, the East Galaxy, and the West Galaxy. That's what the quadrants are. Each quadrant is one galaxy. King Kai even says this in the anime.
Dealing with this model. Now, real-world astronomy does not take even a galaxy, divide it into 4 compass sectors, and then treat each sector as a separate galaxy either. The Milky Way is quadranted off into 4 separate parts, but there's not 4 Milky Ways. And the Milky Way is literally used in the Dragon Ball franchise itself. So that structure exists, and the Milky Way is 100,000 light years across, bigger than this proposed universal
So Shane,
model.
this is incoherent. What does one galaxy split into 4 have anything to do with anything? It says the universe is split into 4, not a galaxy. So you showing this doesn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with anything. I don't understand what this has to... I watched your video twice, and I don't understand what this has anything to do with anything. Nobody said that the galaxy was split into 4 quadrants. Oh, by the way, you can still split a galaxy into 4 quadrants. I don't know if you watch Star Trek or Star Wars, but they do that all the time as location markers. But in this case, that's not what it is. Like, the universe is split into 4 sections. Each section is one quadrant because there's 4. And there's only 4 galaxies, north, south, east, and west. There's only 4 Kaio. There aren't countless Kaio. And we have the definition for what a galaxy is in the source material.
And the Milky Way is 100,000 light years across, bigger than this proposed universal model of 40 light years. Dragon Ball explicitly has 4 Kais overseeing the 4 directions, so that is administrative governance. It does not automatically imply only 4 galaxies exist in total. The truth is, if you look at the history of the word Ginga and what it originally meant to what it means now and how it's used in Japanese media, there is an open to interpretation element.
So once more, Shane, yes, it's called the Milky Way, but it's not an actual 100% parallel to real science with the Milky Way itself. So again, you are making up fan fiction here, saying that it's 100,000 light years wide, therefore it must be the exact same thing. in the Dragon Ball universe when we have source material showing us that the moon and the solar system is so condensed that the moon is extremely close to the Earth in Dragon Ball. So the distances involved are not the same. And that is why it's only 40 light years wide, according to Bulma and Popo. Not me, not anybody else, according to the source material.
Terminology elasticity with this term, and then you really have to look at the wider context and see what supports it and correlates with it. Ultimately, saying North Galaxy does not automatically mean one standalone galaxy. Treating it that way is a false equivocation. One way you can look at how galaxies used by Toriyama, and specifically is at Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. Jaco states that he looks over the galaxy, even though he admits there's an intergalactic patrol force and laws in place. But he often says, I must look at the galaxy. He's talking about all galaxies, but he uses the word singular ginga every time.
So right here, you said that it doesn't imply or state that there's only 4 galaxies, but I just read out the actual guidebook for you. So what you're doing here is denying the actual source material. So what I would say, Shane, is redo your video and get rid of the first part of your video where you said you're actually going to use the source material to steelman all of these arguments. But so far, again, how far are we into this now? We are 5 minutes and 37 seconds, and there has not been a single fact that you've given, and it's entirely your opinion with the sizes, the distances, and what these actual terms mean without using any actual source material or the guidebooks or anything like that. So Shane, right here, you talked about false equivocation while showing Jaco, and every Dragon Ball scaler that I've ever talked to has used the Jaco statement when he's talking to Bulma, but none of them have shown the full clip in the anime of Jaco saying that basically he was lying to Bulma to get her to go away because he's on his day off and he just shot a space monument out in space, and he's going to get in trouble with his boss if he goes back into outer space. And then he says, well, the Galactic Patrol doesn't have any data on anything else. Oops, I have no clue what I'm talking about. We only have data on the North Galaxy. Bored out of his mind, so he decided to fire on some space rocks and accidentally hits a valuable monument. As soon as he blows it up, his boss calls him and asks what happened.
Always helps me take the edge off.
Patrolman Jaco, we just detected the explosion of Galactic National Monument 654 at your location.
And Jaco replies that he was chasing a villain and the bad guy blew it up. He immediately goes to Earth and literally hides in the corner of Bulma's house.
All right, what's up, Jaco? Is cowering in the corner how you show your shame for taking your sweet time coming here?
Bulma says this is great. Jaco's here, we can ask him for help on scanning the universe for other fighters on the other worlds to join the tournament. Jaco then gets scared and stressed out, saying there's countless galaxies, and this would take too long, of course. Duh.
The universe has so many of these giant galaxies, our brains can't even comprehend the scale of it! And you want me to take you to the center? Well, I got news for you. No, can't do!
Wait, what? Oh.
Bulma then looks at him like he's brain rotted for saying this, and then smirks and understands he's lying to her to get her to go away.
Wait, what? Oh.
This is Jaco's vacation day, and he doesn't want to work, so he lied to Bulma to try to get her out of helping her.
Think an elite one like myself should get to enjoy at least a full week to recharge. I mean, this is supposed to be my vacation! And yet here I am once again getting dragged into helping Bulma and her codependent Earth friend!
I didn't expect you to take me in your little space hatchback. I just thought you'd take me as far as your headquarters. Then I'd find some cruiser built for hyperspace or whatever.
Once again, as the name Galactic Patrol implies, we only cover this galaxy. Nobody at my work knows how to get there. It's just too far.
So he lied to Bulma to try to get out of helping her. Immediately after, he says the space cops have no data on any other galaxy except the North Galaxy, and that nobody in the Space Corps has ever been outside of the North Galaxy. Bulma then splits the very small team up in this room and sends them to each galaxy to scan and find other planets with other powerful fighters to help them join the tournament. Jaco did not actually say there's countless galaxies. Dragon Ball fans consistently prove that they don't watch the source material and then get mad at me for showing it to them. Instead of rewarding me with likes and subscribers and views, I instead have to fight off brain-rotted comments like these and struggle for 500 views per video just for telling the truth.
That's it. That explains everything.
So that clip is rarely ever shown in scalar stuff. And really, if you want to see those full clips, you come to my channel, because my channel seems to be the only channel that shows the clips in full.
It just has elasticity in the world of Dragon Ball. So the 40 light year model is contradicted by Daizenshu 4. Daizenshu 4 has 2 dedicated pages that give us actual numbers for the size of the universe. So it states, and it's on your screen now if you want to scan, and so is the translation, so you can check it if you want. It states that the universe is tens of thousands of light years, hundreds of millions of light years. This is from...
So Shane, I feel like there's a reason why you're not reading out this statement with the Mujin Ni statement of the infinite and hundreds of millions and tens of thousands. This statement right here is flowery poetic embellishment. Read what it says. An infinitely expanding darkness and the illumination of galaxies, tens of thousands of light years, hundreds of millions of light years, a place even light cannot reach, beyond countless stars. This is poetic, and you are taking this as actual fact. Nobody should do that. Tens of thousands, hundreds of millions, countless, infinitely expanding, all in the same sentence.
And this is further supported by the pen of Toriyama, especially concerning the Milky Way galaxy. In Jaco the Galactic Patrolman, Toriyama literally had them state that the Milky Way, the galaxy they're in, has approximately 200 billion stars, which is similar to what the Milky Way. Now let's talk about the heavenly sun problem. Okay,
Yeah, so Shane, right here, you are 100% wrong about the Ginja statement for Jaco, and he's patrolling more than one galaxy. He literally states that he only patrols the North Galaxy, and that the Galactic Patrol only covers the North Galaxy. It's only the North Galaxy and nothing else. So again, there's a lot going on here that is completely wrong and doesn't use any source material in your statements. So this video is already absurdly long enough, so I'm going to skip over all of this because I know your translations are wrong. I know for a fact just by skimming through the video and watching it for the first time, and I had to go back and I'm just skimming through it right now again for the second time. I'm like, was he right on these translations? Is that right? No, it wasn't right. So I'm not even going to cover that because that alone could be a 2-hour video on the context of the kanji.
Earth, which is just another assumption, and a very generous one at that, the model. So if you wanted to rage bait me, is to talk about snake wave's distance. Now, the problem with this is that it is rumored, heavy emphasis on the word rumor, to be...
Oh no, Shane, right here you just said that Snakeway is only rumored. It's only rumored, you said. Well, here's the guidebook saying that it's roughly 1 million kilometers long. There's no indication here that it's a rumor or a legend, okay? The legend came from the last person who actually ran it, and that was King Yema, and he told that to his employees, who then told that to Goku when Goku was talking to them. So it did actually happen. It wasn't a rumor. The guidebook here clearly states that it's 1 million kilometers long. So if Goku ran this in 27 hours with a power level of 8,000, coming back, that's about a speed factor of 23,000 miles an hour.
The barometer of a cosmic ruler. Master Roshi destroyed the moon in seconds with a Kamehameha, and you can't call this an outlier because Piccolo does the same in seconds years later, even though he's stronger. However, Goku is faster than both of them at this point. That blast travelled far faster than conventional human movement.
So when Master Roshi did this in the original Dragon Ball series, it was supposed to be taken as a gag and a time skip. That didn't make any sense. You can't really make any sense of it. And also the Piccolo thing didn't actually happen. Again, if you read the Kakarot game guide, it tells you that Piccolo cast an illusion, making it seem like he actually shot the moon. Again, you're missing the point here, Shane. Goku's actual speed feats, the ones that were written specifically to be taken as a speed feat, were 23,000 miles an hour at power level 8,000, running 1 million kilometers in 27 hours. Again, it took Goku almost 6 months to run Snakeway with a power level of 400, and Master Roshi's blast made it to the moon in seconds. Okay, so that's an outlier, and you're supposed to chuck that out because it wasn't meant to be a speed feat. That's basic logic that nobody can argue against. I hate to break it to you, but there's an entire scene of Master Roshi running the 100-meter dash in just a few seconds. This is an actual speed feat, implied and intended to be a speed feat by the authors and the writers. Whereas Master Roshi shooting the moon at that speed was not supposed to be taken as a speed feat, written into the narrative as a speed feat, but fans don't care because most of them have social disorders who don't understand social cues or how anime even works. So again, we're so far into this and I haven't seen one single fact. All I've seen is Shane denying the source material, ignoring what the actual guidebook says, ignoring Akira Toriyama's actual statements and his visual guide that he gave us in the guidebook saying there's only 4 galaxies. Again, you said a lot of things are supposed to be rumored about the Snake Way thing, but no, the guidebook says it is 1 million kilometers long, roughly. So Shane, I'm not going to go even more into this because this video could easily be like 3 hours long. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. So I'm going to go over one more time what the speed feats were for Bulma and Popo's ship in the Namek saga. So again, they make it to Jupiter in the test flight in that amount of time, and it equates to exactly, and I mean on the dot, 512 times light speed, which is the exact same speed as the Enterprise in the original Star Trek series, which is one of Akira Toriyama's favorite series and sci-fi franchises. So it was specifically written this way. There's no possible way that this is coincidence, okay? With all the other Star Trek and Star Wars references all over the show, that was clearly specifically supposed to be an Easter egg that I might be the first person to ever find in the world. If you can find another person who showed anybody that before a few months ago, please link it in the comments below or make a video about it because I want to go thank them. I tried to find somebody else who found this. I couldn't find a single other person. So it is 512 times light speed, and they move at that speed for a certain amount of days, but it's not in a straight line. That's where your argument fails. Bulma has stated in that episode that they had to travel in weird squiggles to get around dangerous areas of the galaxy. So again, it was not in a straight line. It was 38 or 39 days squiggling through the galaxy, okay, to get to wherever Namek is. Now, subjectively, we have no clue where Namek is, so we place it. Are you understanding the basic math here? Let me try to explain this again. We don't know where Namek is, so let's place it at the furthest possible point in the North Galaxy. We know that the Earth is on one edge, all the way on the north edge, so let's place Namek on the edge of the south end of the same galaxy. Let's move them for 38 days at 512 times light speed, and what do we get? So Shane, you get about 53 light years if you travel in a straight line. That means, now listen to me, everybody else who doesn't like what I'm saying. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to downplay Dragon Ball. If you place Earth and Namek on the opposite sides of a single galaxy, and you travel at 512 times light speed for 38 days in a straight line, that means the maximum that this galaxy can possibly be is 53 light years wide. Now, since Bulma squiggled for almost that entire series of events, going from one end to the other through just the one galaxy, okay, just that one, you're going to take off a huge percent because you're squiggling all around and you're not traveling in a straight line, which means each galaxy is less than 50 light years wide, okay? This is math. This is the source material. This is not opinion. We are taking the numbers that Bulma gave us. We're taking the numbers of the ship's speed that the source material gave us. And we are seeing exactly how big this can possibly be. The galaxies cannot be bigger than 50 light years wide. That's from the source material, okay? A lot of fans don't want this to be true. I understand that. But you have to understand that Akira Toriyama had memory problems and specifically made this cosmology small so he could easily remember it. That's the crux of the entire thing. Again, Namek and Earth on opposite sides of the galaxy, the north end and the south end, the furthest possible point, moving between those 2 points at 512 times light speed for 39 days, only gets you about 53 light years of travel distance. This is debunked. It is in the source material that there's only 4 galaxies, and the biggest possible that they can be according to the source material, with absolutely no fan bias, with absolutely no interpretations, nothing, taking the numbers right out of the source material. 53 light year maximum, but it's way less than that because Bulma was squiggling through that distance the entire time to avoid dangerous areas and also took a day off during the mirror ship event. And on a final note, I just want to make it clear that this person in Shane's comments named No Name claims to have defeated me in my Discord over all this and that. I booted and banned him from my server. No, in my server, the server rules are no lying and no exaggerations allowed during debates, and if you continue lying, I will boot you. And I did defeat this person quite easily using these same guidebook entries, which he promptly denied, and he kept doing it over and over and over, so I booted him. So he's double lying. Please don't trust this person. Anyone is free to come to my Discord and look at the chat conversation that we had. It's all there, none of it was deleted.